So we have our next battle right here at Futurama, and this is going to the world of media, digital media in this case. With us we have Nicholas Merton, DataDash. Ladies and gentlemen, big round for Nicholas. Please, thank you. SHASHWAT GUPTA, right here. Michael, and SUPPO, Miguel.
Smash up ye all lights. Smash up ye all lights.
So let's have a seat, gentlemen, and let's begin. Let's start with Nicholas, and let's do it for people that possibly, maybe, do not know who Nicholas is. Let's do a 1-minute intro, okay?
Hi there, my name is Nicholas Merton. I run the largest YouTube channel for cryptocurrencies. I cover a general range of the short-term and long-term applications of blockchain technologies, as well as cryptocurrency on a long-term scale, as well as its currency applications and the enterprise platform solutions that it can bring. So basically with my channel, I'm able to teach people about not only the basics of the fundamental technology as to why blockchain technology is going to revolutionize a variety of industries, but along that as well, I really talk about the market opportunity, because I came from traditional markets for about 6 to 7 years doing investing and trading, and spending a lot of time in emerging markets, you really start to see just how early we are in this space, even though Bitcoin's been around for about 9 years. So I'm really excited to see the space continue to grow over the next few years, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
All right, let's continue down the line and come back to our newest edition. Okay, please.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael SUPPO, but otherwise known as SUPPO Man. I have a YouTube channel all about cryptocurrency. It's called Savage Cash, mainly. And what I tend to do is I talk about what's happening in the market. I analyze cryptocurrencies and I analyze ICO opportunities. But really what I do is I just provide what the people. That's really the source of my content. So it's what the people want, what they want to know about, and having a good gauge on kind of what the appetite is in the market, what are people wanting to buy, and just supplying them with the information, I suppose, that they want to know, but they don't really want to carry out. So it's just part of due diligence for them, I suppose. That's what I do. So.
All right, great. And yes.
All right. So I think this mic doesn't work.
Oh my God.
Borrow yours.
All right, here we go. So my name is also Michael. I'm Michael Group. I run a channel called Box Mining, and I also cover cryptocurrencies, just like everyone else here. And I have a slightly different angle. I think we all are quite different people. And my angle is mostly a lot related to gaming news. So I figured this is one of the places where we kind of want someone to talk to in this space. When you first enter cryptocurrencies, you're kind of left alone. And this is what I felt when I first started in crypto. All the way back in 2012, I just had no one to talk to. It's like all my friends, they just thought it was a scam. It's not going to be worth anything. It's the biggest bubble ever. And I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings, and that's how I really started box mining. I started looking at the news, I started reading that out, and I started interacting with the community. And I realized it was not just beneficial for them, but it was very beneficial for me. Just the whole community growing together. It was just a learning experience, and I was just very overwhelmed by how much positive feedback I got and how much insight I got. And I want to give back to that community as well. So I've been visiting a lot of conferences, showing them what's happening in this whole industry that really just grew over the past year. And also I visit a lot of projects as well. So I actually just go to, like, say, an office and show people, okay, these are the guys, these are the real people running this project. It's not just an idea. I visited Binance office to see, what CZ is doing, what their crew is doing, how their kind of morale and performance is like. So these are kind of things I try to offer on my channel, and I've been having a great time. So I hope you guys can have some great time with crypto as well.
All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Shash. I started off doing business development for a YouTube channel called Altcoin Buzz. We're trying to become more of a media company. The channel was actually started by Jeff. He's the founder of the channel. He couldn't be here, so I'm sort of a co-founder. What we've been doing on our channel is a bit different because we have multiple narrators who are experts in different fields. So we have people doing the news on a daily basis, and somebody does the technical analysis. People do ICO reviews, and then we're putting out 4 to 5 videos every day, sometimes 8 videos a day. We're also trying to build like a blog segment to kind of cover more news and stuff in written text. Pretty much everything that we're doing is trying to understand from our end and like tell people as we see it coming. There is so much changing with the trends in this space on a regular basis that keeping up with it for one person becomes extremely difficult. So we're a team of 23 people, and all of us are kind of super bullish on the space right now.
Great, and we have a
hi.
addition to the panel. Please introduce yourself.
By the way, I don't think I belong to this panel, but anyway, I'm in the media industry. I've been in media for 25 years or so. We are building a social media network that brings celebrities closer to their communities. And we have been doing this for the past 2 years, and we will pitch it next. Being also part, probably the first ICO from the Middle East, I would be very interested to shed some light on how the social media in this part of the world is converging into different businesses, and how the TV and the conventional ways of media also is losing grounds, maybe.
I don't agree. Okay. Just because I come from the TV world, but this is interesting because we have a gathering here, and we do have also panel 8, which talks about new media, how we're taking TV into sort of offline TV into the online, and we're creating companies such as Decentric Media, Futurama blockchain media that we have started here. We're also trying to use the experience we've had at YouTube to actually sort of, let's say, take the TV on the decentralized waves of the internet. So, but I do agree that, of course, traditional media, as far as like television in general, news and whatnot, yeah, probably, you guys are the pioneers of the future news in the world of crypto media. So let's begin with that task. What headaches are you facing right now? And how do you select who to talk about, what to talk about, and keep your audience interested? I think one person here who has been doing that, well, at least to my opinion, quite efficiently is Nicholas. Give us some tricks and tips that you use to do that.
Well, it's kind of funny because you asked what the biggest issue was, and you kind of stole the words out of my mouth in the sense that, like, you're very right. The biggest issue I think we as YouTubers have to face is that every day there's new stuff coming into the space, new content to cover, but you only have so much real estate in the sense of what you can cover on your channel. So what I do first and foremost, I think the biggest issue I run into is trying to filter out good projects. And I think this is key not only for content creators, but also for investors as well. So how do you filter out through all the different ICOs that are being brought your way, this whole new way to raise capital where it seems everyone and the third cousin is doing an ICO? Well, the way that I do it, and I'm able to cut out about 98% of ICOs, is with two simple factors. One, if the application for their ICO, whether it be a decentralized application or it's a project of whatever sorts, whatever they're trying to apply, is it applicable on blockchains? Blockchains do a very few select things good. They do A, immutability of information. B, if you have a good consensus mechanism, they can remove trust. And the third part is they're able, because of all of this, to remove third parties. So any industry where you can remove a third party out of the equation, that's a good thing. Outside of those factors, the other thing I look for as well is that they have a minimal viable product, something of an alpha version of their software, something that's tangible in a world where cryptocurrencies are not tangible. Provide any kind of sense of fake connections with market trends. I think a lot of people try to find a reason for price movement. Sometimes it's just new optimism or fear coming into the market. And I try to bring that rational approach more than anything rather than trying to hype things up.
So let's say to be selective, to be proper, proof of concept is always great. Now, Shash, you got a big team of people. How do you guys, do YouTubers, let's say, use agencies, use audit companies that actually audit and really check the essence, the substance behind companies before you decide to, let's say, talk about them? Do you guys use any, let's say, partners in that field?
Not yet. Essentially, we're a startup ourselves. We started in September. So, like the way we grew, it wasn't something we actually looked. We weren't expecting to have this kind of growth, and we are so excited that we did, and that's why we kind of formulated a company now, doing it more in a, sorted out manner. Sorry, we're doing it in a more sorted manner right now. So the way we go around looking at, especially in the ICO space, which one we want to work with, which ones we want. I see teams that are persistent. They're the first ones that catch my eye, because if we get mails like this every day, and I was just telling Nick the other day that, hi, I have an amazing project. If you're interested, let me know. And it becomes so difficult to kind of, I don't know what to do. Like, is he creating fear of missing out for me? Like, am I going to miss out on this project if I don't email him back? And some people, they write, and they write like extremely professional emails, kind of get in touch. How can we improve our project and stuff like that? And when people come from that kind of a background, they see that, they want to know how I would, be interested in their project rather than saying, how much do you want? Then that creates like an interest for me because I like those people already. And like Rob was saying earlier, like invest in people. It's just easier to work with people who have like a passion to do things that they're going to do, and then they're figuring out ways on how they can work with me or anybody else. So that's one. The second one is, I kind of have a conversation with everybody that we intend to work with. So the first thing we do is, I'm probably at my worst when I have the first conversation with these guys, because that kind of helps me do a bit of a litmus test to figure out, because they're going to go through this path where they'll have a lot of rejections, a lot of people asking them a lot of crazy questions. So if they're willing to take that, and it's in their nature to be like, yes, like I hear what you're saying, but you don't have to be, the way you're acting with us right now, then I'm liking them even more. And then ultimately, like, if they're willing to change or willing to, believe that some of the issues exist within their platform, and then figure out ways and come back to me after a few days and says, we fixed these things, then I'm pretty excited about working with them. So it does not have so much to do with the idea and how well they were implemented, etc. Because some of the companies which really have no potential have ended up doing really good work just because they had the passion and the will to do it.
All right. Well, now I bet the inquiry list is big. I mean, just to get a scope of the social media business for, talking about interesting projects and creating news, covering news, what's the flow? What's the flow like these days into, inquiries for potential partners, etc.? Anybody care to share those interesting details?
So what's the flow like for
Yeah,
projects?
how many projects do you reject? How many?
Ooh, like that's like a lot of projects. So I think it's no surprise that we get a lot of emails requesting reviews. They said, oh yeah, we're a follower of your channel. We really want you to talk about our project. And I think I just want to answer the first question first of all, which is, do we do due diligence? And for me, it's always about talking to the founders. It's always about talking to the people behind the project. So we always try to schedule an interview first, just to have a chat. And the best case scenario is if they actually come and we meet in person. That's when you really know, are they really committed to this project? Are they doing this for just a cash grab, which is the worst case scenario, or do they have some sort of vision? You can't really build a good blockchain project without the vision and the realization that you are building a community as well. A lot of projects, they're like, okay, this works. This is just a database. It's like using a cool advanced database. But we heard from Miko's talk that it's not. Blockchain is like the worst database possible. It's slow. It doesn't handle many transactions, and also it costs a lot of power to power this whole thing. It's like an ecological disaster. But it allows us to do things in a trustless fashion, and just realizing that and making sure that the power of blockchain is used correctly, and the founder has a vision to correctly use it, and also to pivot if things don't go right. So that's what we usually do. We always just talk to them first if they're kind of if they have that passion to drive forward. And also sometimes we pick their brains apart. Like we try to say, okay, this project's tried this. What do you think of this? What do you think of this project that's doing something similar? Can you do it better? So that's kind of how we start. Also, another thing I find is that taking my viewers through the process, the logical process of due diligence is important. A lot of people, especially if they're new to the space, they don't realize how intensive due diligence is, and just showing them, okay, we started looking at LinkedIn profiles and start confirming with that, making sure that they're who they say they are. They go into their offices and making sure, okay, they have what they have. Making sure the companies and partnerships are legit. This whole thinking process, I think, is very important in the YouTube space.
Well, we here at Futurama, even though it's our first pancake, so to speak, but I think it's turned out pretty tasty so far.
Delicious.
We have gathered, we've done our due diligence and gathered you guys because we know that you, with your heart and soul, believe in what you do, and that's important. What do you think about, as with any disruptive technology, there will always be, as Brock once told me, roaches crawling from the log. There is a lot of thin, watered down, unsubstantial, unfortunately, people in the social media out there who are trying to get into the industry, or perhaps for some of the reasons you just mentioned, just to make the buck. What do you think about some of these platforms, and what do you say to those companies out there who, sometimes people, I've heard of stories, people paying, something like 2 Bitcoins for something that, a YouTube channel that has, 5,000 subscribers and is done in such a, let's just say, unpresentable manner that, you come to think, why do people do that? So what do we do as a YouTube community, as a community of social media, crypto pioneers, to create a better world for this industry?
I think,
everyone is free to jump in whenever they wish, by the way. So.
Yeah, I can only answer from my point of view, which is that I think that what we saw in the last bull run is that the ICOs that performed better were infrastructure-based ICOs. And I think that over the last 6 months, I think that the whole appetite has changed for the investors. The people who watch day to day, just watch us, looking for something to invest in. Because basically what we are is we are all small business investors, really. It's a bit like Dragon's Den, really. Cryptocurrency is a bit like Dragon's Den. Like, we are the dragons, all the investors, and all of the ICOs are pitching to you. And really, the ones that sound the best nowadays are infrastructures. But about 8 months ago, everything sounded good. Back in September, DApps kind of sounded quite exciting. There were some that, you thought, well, how do you make a use case for the blockchain? But they were, like Power Ledger, for instance, and you just kind of thought, this is really exciting. This is like, turning a traditional business into a cryptocurrency-based business or cryptocurrency infrastructure, which I thought was really exciting. But now, the ones that are doing really well are the infrastructures. So I think that people's appetite is for what's fast, what's doing it different, blockchain. If it's just another blockchain, then it's a little boring, When credits came out, it was like, oh yeah, this sounds exciting, but now, anything that's a blockchain and doing it a bit faster is a bit, well, now you've got to kind of be a bit different. And this is why I think Holochain and Hashgraph are really exciting, because they are kind of non-blockchain based infrastructures. And the last one that came out, which was that, is Tangle, with IOTA. And IOTA's a top 10 coin. So another infrastructure that offers something different has the chance to be a top 10 coin. And I think in an ideal world, the investors out there that watch us YouTubers want to invest in the next top coin. So really, from my personal perspective, that's what I like to give, is the potential for the people who follow me to invest in that next big coin.
Right, but so, and I think you also misunderstood my question in the sense that I wanted to know what can we do as a community to better the community, to have less, let's say, YouTubers out there that offer a completely unsubstantial approach to their channel and do the integration and whatnot. And also, what second part of the question would be, because we only have about 7 minutes, unfortunately, because we are pressed for time. What role do you guys see for yourselves as the pioneers of the crypto blogging space, and what do you think YouTube blogging really means right now, crypto blogging, to elevate it to the next stage? Okay, you know, I personally know a good friend of mine, Alex Petrov. He's a Russian, I like to call him the KC Neistat, but only in crypto. This guy, travels all over the world. He started with underwater hunting, and then when crypto came out, he became an investor. He's got a 150K portfolio right now, and he keeps his audience always on tiptoes. So, talks about the loss, the profit, the gain of the project. He mixes it in with the traveling, with the underwater hunting, which is pretty cool. So, what sort of techniques can you guys create in the future for your media to actually make it more captivating, more global, more decentralized? Because for me, as a TV guy that comes from the world of actually filmmaking, I always come to the approach of, and my idea behind blockchain media, which I'm going to talk about later after the ICO pitches, is to use emotion and feeling to generate interest and inspire people in the world of blockchain. So what can you guys do in the nearest future to truly, make crypto blogging something completely different from any other sort of YouTube blogging out there?
I think
let's talk conceptually, right? It's a broad question, I understand, but
I'll give a very quick answer for that. It's so tempting to make it more exciting. Like I got an email for an interview. The CEO came up to me and said, "You know what? Why don't we do this interview jumping out of the airplane? That would be exciting, right?" But the problem is people aren't interested in you jumping out of the airplane. They're interested in the project. So you kind of have to balance that. There is a lot of visual kind of feedback that's good, but at the same time, you cannot distract from the content. You really got to do good, solid work. Content is king in this space. So I feel like pushing out better content, doing better research, and being better, improving yourself in doing due diligence and even just learning, I think that's the best way forward.
All right, let's quickly do 30 seconds each, 40 seconds if we
I want to build on what both Michael said, ironically enough, is that here's the thing. I think a lot of people are looking for a quick answer to making sure that content is going to become key. The issue with it is that this is an emerging market. Just like with the dot-com bubble, where you had companies that didn't produce anything, they find a way to market, they find a way to get onto the exchanges. Here's the fact of the matter. With the newer industry, as it continues to grow, just like how Michael was saying, projects get better. As time goes by, people get smarter. I can give you a great analogy right off the bat. Who here knows about BitConnect? Yeah, hey. It's funny because I don't think people realize what happened afterwards. There was a lot of YouTubers who made their entire career off promoting BitConnect. Well, where are they now? They're facing class action lawsuits. They don't have an audience anymore. They've shut down their channels. So I think it goes to say that as much as we'd like to find some new revolutionary way to cut out the noise and cut out the scams and all the sad things that happen in a new emerging market where there's always greed and anticipation for something bigger, it is going to be a matter of time of thinning out the crappy projects and getting people in the space who have a sense of integrity based on the honesty and transparency.
Right. The bubble will burst and we will see a clear future. Let's do 30 seconds. Each one of you guys are on.
I'll go next then, quickly. It's difficult because YouTube is about the person rather than sometimes the subject, so people connect with the person, right? And I think that's kind of been probably my appeal. I think that's kind of what I show. But there is kind of a bit of a need to evolve a bit from just being a content creator, but in cryptocurrency being the subject it is, like you said, it's a bit. You can't just do the old skydive or maybe do pranks and stuff like that. It just wouldn't work in this space. So we have got to think about a way to evolve that puts us in that bracket of getting attention, but doesn't take away from our credibility.
Interesting. All right, quickly, guys. Anything to add?
Yeah, I pretty much answered it.
All right. Josh? Cool. All right, on that awesome quote, we finish this panel. Thank you so much to the pioneers of the future, YouTube, blogging, social media. Big round, please, ladies and gentlemen. All right, up next, we have the vision of